Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're going to totally transform how you capture, organize, and actually remember information. If you've ever felt completely overwhelmed by the sheer volume of stuff you need to learn, well, you're in exactly the right place.
Let's kick things off with a quick question. Have you ever sat in a lecture, hand literally cramping up as you furiously copy down every single word, only to look back at those pages a week later and think, what on earth is this? Yeah, me too. It's the passive learning trap of mindless transcription, and honestly, we've all fallen into it.
So here's our agenda for today to solve those study struggles. 1. The passive learning trap. 2. The Cornell method explained. 3. The 6 R's of success. 4. Cornell notes for math. And finally, number 5, Cornell versus mind mapping.
Section 1. The passive learning trap, moving from passive to active learning. Think about it. When you act like a human tape recorder, you completely miss the big picture. Writing down every single word just creates massive visual clutter. And it actually increases your study anxiety because you're left staring at this giant wall of text with zero retention. What we need is a system that forces active, critical thinking instead of just passive listening. You got to be distilling the information in real time, not just blindly copying it. Moving on to Section 2, the Cornell method explained, the architecture of learning. Okay, let's dive into the actual solution, which was created way back in the 1950s by Walter Pock at Cornell University. Basically, the Cornell method is a systematic format for condensing and organizing your notes. It uses this highly efficient 2-column paper layout to promote active recall, and it's incredibly effective because it essentially builds a study guide directly into your initial notes. By forcing yourself to logically organize things the second your pen hits the paper, you instantly switch from a passive listener to an active participant in your own learning. Here's the sheer brilliance of how this is laid out spatially. You just divide a standard piece of paper into 4 specific sections. At the top, you've got a header for the date, course, and topic. Then, the right-hand column, taking up about 70% of the page, that's your main note-taking area for the big ideas. Next, a narrower left-hand column, which we call the Q column, taking up the other 30%. This acts like a personal, built-in flashcard for keywords and questions. And finally, a bottom summary footer where you write a quick recap of the entire page in your own words. You know, as California Coast University points out, the absolute beauty of this framework is its simplicity. It's totally low-tech, portable, and basically free. All you need is paper and a pen. Oh, and actually, a quick pro tip from the sources, use a smooth rolling pen, not a pencil. Pencils drag and slow you down, which you definitely don't want during a fast-paced lecture. This simple, interactive, physical structure really helps relieve study anxiety by giving you a calming, predictable framework. Section 3, the 6 R's of success, your step-by-step action plan. All right, now that we know what the page looks like, how do we actually use it? Well, these are the 6 R's of note-taking from Duke University's Writing and Rhetoric program. It's a structured procedure taking you all the way from the lecture hall straight to your final exam prep. They are record, reduce, recite, reflect, review, and recapitulate. Let's break these down. Step 1 is record. During class, write your main notes in that large right-hand column. Use abbreviations, focus on the big ideas. Don't sweat every single word. Then step 2 is reduce. And guys, this is absolutely crucial. You have to reduce your notes into keywords in the Q column within 24 hours while the lecture is still fresh in your mind. Just pull out the most vital hints or frame them as questions. Now, steps 3 through 6 are where the real magic happens for your memory. Recite means covering up the right side of the page and saying the answers out loud using only your left cues. It's literally simulating a test environment. Then reflect by linking these key themes to things you already know to develop that critical thinking. Make sure to review these pages weekly so the info pushes into your long-term memory. And finally, recapitulate. Just write a brief, clear summary right at the bottom of the page in your own words. On to Section 4, Cornell Notes for Math, adapting the system for specific subjects. A lot of people think the Cornell method is just for, say, history or lit, but according to the University of Toledo Center for Success Coaching, it's actually amazing for highly structured subjects like math. You just tweak the layout a bit. In that left Q column, you record major concepts, formulas, and definitions. Then, right next to it in the notes column, you document the step-by-step solutions for your sample problems. Down in the bottom summary, you explain the core mathematical rule you just applied. It perfectly maps the practical execution right to the theoretical rule. The thing is, this method is truly universal. Whether you're in a law class briefing a dense legal case, a nursing student memorizing the complexities of the cardiovascular system, or studying heavy historical timelines, this layout helps you systematically condense all that factual information into a format you can actually test yourself on later. Section 5, Cornell vs. Mind Mapping, choosing the right note system. Okay, we've praised Cornell a lot today, but how does it stack up against other popular methods, and when should you use something else? Well, choosing your method really comes down to how your brain needs to process the info. The Cornell method leans heavily on left brain processing. It's highly logical, sequential, and text-based. Mind mapping, on the other hand, targets right brain processing. It's much more visual, spatial, and built for understanding conceptual relationships rather than linear facts. Looking at them side by side, we can see that Cornell is absolutely supreme for linear, detailed recall in fast-paced lectures, perfect for STEM, law, or fact-based exams. But mind mapping, that really excels when you need to understand creative, radial relationships between broad concepts, making it ideal for creative subjects or prepping for big essay exams. But here's the secret. You don't have to choose just one. You can totally create a strategic hybrid. Try using the Cornell method during a fast-paced lecture to make sure you capture all those sequential facts and equations accurately. Then, when you're reviewing at home later, create a mind map to visualize how all those individual Cornell pages connect to form the broad theories of your course. Research actually shows that matching your note-taking method to the material can boost your retention by up to 35%. That's huge. To wrap up this explainer, I'm going to act as your personal cue column and give you a quick active recall challenge right now. Without looking back, can you name the 4 physical sections of a Cornell Notes page? Take a second. Got it? It's the header, the left cue column, the right notes column, and the bottom summary. If you remembered that, you are already practicing active recall. Start applying this today. Because if simply changing how you divide a blank piece of paper can boost your attention by 35%, you really have to wonder, what other untapped potential is hiding in your daily routine?